Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into something huge, the way technology is just completely turning the world of buying and selling businesses on its head. Seriously, if you're an owner, or even if you're looking to buy, the old rules are out the window, and we're about to show you why.
You know, the role is changing so fast that you have to ask the question, is that classic old-school business broker totally obsolete? Well, the short answer is a big fat yes. But the much more interesting answer is what we're going to unpack right now.
And just to be crystal clear, this is not some small tweak we're talking about. This is a fundamental reinvention of the entire industry. It's a massive shift away from a business that was built on handshakes and gut feelings to one that is now driven by hard data and, frankly, high-level strategy.
So, to really get our heads around this new world, let's start with the big question. Why? Why is all of this happening right now? What are the forces that are pushing this whole industry to change at such a breakneck speed? The most important thing to get is this huge identity shift. A broker isn't just some matchmaker anymore. No way. Today, they're expected to be your strategic advisor, someone who uses technology to get you the best possible return and protect you from risk. It's a whole new job description.
Okay, so the first major thing driving all this change is the pretty tough economic climate we're all in. Let's actually dig into the numbers and see what business owners are really up against.
Now, at first glance, this number from the Small Business Optimism Index, it looks pretty good, right? Sales expectations are actually up. But if you look a little closer, you see this deep underlying uncertainty about what's coming next, and that's making owners really hesitant to pour big money into long-term investments.
And this chart right here, it tells you exactly where that stress is coming from. Finding good people to work and battling inflation. Those are the top two headaches. And these aren't just abstract ideas. These are the day-to-day pressures that hammer a business's value and its readiness to be sold.
So all these pressures have created something that experts are calling a barbell market. Think about it. All the action is happening at the two ends. On one side, you have tons of people buying up small, niche businesses. And on the other side, you've got big institutional investors snapping up large, scalable companies. But that middle ground, it's kind of a dead zone. And figuring out where your business sits on this barbell is absolutely critical for your whole strategy.
This data just lays that barbell effect out perfectly. I mean, look at these numbers. For the smallest deals, multiples have jumped to 2.3 times earnings. That's huge. Meanwhile, the big deals are pulling in a really strong 5.5 times multiple. This split means you need totally different selling strategies depending on which end of that barbell you're playing on.
And the last headwind to talk about is high interest rates. It's just more expensive to borrow money, right? So that shrinks the number of buyers who can even afford a deal. It also means that if you're a seller, you're seeing way fewer all-cash offers. Instead, you're getting pushed into these complicated deals like earnouts, where a chunk of your payment actually depends on how well the business does after you sell it.
Okay, so with all of those challenges, you might be thinking, well, where's the solution? And that brings us to the single biggest answer to all these market problems. Technology. It's not just a nice little add-on anymore. It is fundamentally reshaping every single part of a business sale.
I mean, just look at the difference between the old way and the new way. It's night and day. The modern broker has basically thrown out their local Rolodex and plugged into global platforms. Guesswork on valuations? Gone. It's been replaced by AI-powered analysis. What does that mean? It means they're faster, they're way more accurate, and they can tap into a worldwide pool of buyers that was just impossible to reach before.
Let's just take due diligence, for example. It's usually the riskiest, most mind-numbing part of any deal. But now, AI can scan years and years of financials in minutes, flagging hidden problems that a human might totally miss. Then you can use something like blockchain to create a secure, unchangeable record of the entire transaction. This is an absolute game changer for building speed and trust into the process.
And remember, this tech stack isn't just a bunch of cool gadgets. Every single one of these tools solves a real, critical problem. AI valuation makes sure you're not leaving money on the table. VR tours, they let a buyer in another country do a walkthrough of your facility. And secure deal rooms make sure your most sensitive data stays locked down. So, with all these powerful new tools in their back pocket, the broker's role has totally transformed. Their entire playbook has shifted from just making introductions to providing expert strategic guidance from start to finish.
Now, if you're a business owner, this slide is everything. A modern broker starts working with you long before you're even thinking about selling. They act more like a consultant, helping you fix things like being too dependent on the owner, which, by the way, can slash your value by 30%, while helping you boost your free cash flow, which could add up to 45% to your final price. That's a huge swing.
And this new, expanded role comes with some very strict ethical lines in the sand. A broker has what's called a fiduciary duty, which means they legally have to put your interests first. That means giving you an honest valuation, not just telling you what you want to hear to get your business. And confidentiality? That's non-negotiable. One leak that a business might be for sale can absolutely destroy its value overnight.
On top of everything else, the regulatory world is just getting more and more complicated. You've got federal rules from the SEC and FINRA, plus this whole tangled web of state licensing laws. It's a huge challenge, and this is where a modern broker who has automated compliance tools becomes absolutely essential to keep your deal legal and moving forward.
So what's the bottom line here for you? I mean, whether you're an owner planning your big exit or a buyer looking for that next great opportunity, how do you actually succeed in this brand new world?
Look, if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's that selling a business today is just a much more sophisticated process than it was even a few years ago. You really need a broker who is a tech-savvy strategist, and you have to start working on boosting your company's value way before you ever think about putting it on the market.
And all of this brings us to the central question for this new era. And the answer, really, is that tech and humans aren't competing. They're partners. AI is amazing at crunching the data and automating tasks, but it takes a human advisor to give that data context, to build trust, and to handle the delicate art of negotiation that actually gets a deal closed. You know, the machine can tell you what to do, but the expert is the one who tells you why.